So let's start from the beginning. How did you actually get into poker and especially mixed games?
So initially poker I got into very young, like 14 or 15, when I saw my dad was playing online, and that interested me and kind of went from there. And then also similarly kind of mixed games. A little bit later when I was kind of 19, 20, I was like, oh, I saw him playing PLO8. And I was like, that's an interesting game. So that was kind of the first mixed game I ran into. Well, I was in with Limit Hold'em as well before then, but don't necessarily call that a mixed game so much. Yeah, and then I found that, and then like a friend recommended me to try going on Full Tilt. It was the biggest time at the time. I was like, wow, this is, amazing. And then like all the biggest games that were running were all mixed games, so I was fascinated by those. And yeah.
Would you say that PLO8 or 08 is your favorite game?
It's not my favorite game. I'd say Limit 08 is probably my best game, but my favorite game I would say is No Limit Single Draw 3-7.
Right, nice. Do you like you played a bunch of No Limit Hold'em stuff recently? Is that something you want to focus more on, or are you like really staying on the mixed game track?
Yeah, I think mostly staying on the mixed game track. I just prefer it in probably every way. I find it more fun. It's more, the variety, that enjoyment is always fun, and I just think I'm better at it, and my edge is higher there, which is always fun, when you feel like you're just playing better than your opponents, and also more fun when the results are generally better, and I think Barrett's is lower as well. In that way, it's always nice. No Limit, the fact that I'm playing more recently is honestly kind of out of necessity, really. Aside from like WCOOP, where there are so many mixed games, there's not very many mixed games happening right now in the series. So when I do go to stops, if they do have mixed games, then absolutely that's great, and I'm prioritizing those. But yeah, No Limit are just for what's available and what the biggest prize pools are and things like that.
Right. Do you play any mixed games as cash games as well, or just tournaments?
Sometimes I do. I haven't been for a while lately. Honestly, the online action's pretty dead. Like on Stars, there's literally nothing running, even over WCOOP at all. I stopped even trying, frankly. It's like over Scoop, it would just be like me sitting by myself, waiting for someone to join me for like 8 hours a day. There was maybe one person who would join me. But yeah, that was literally it. I would forget that I had my cash game tables open because I was just sitting by myself and nobody had joined me. So yeah, that's quite sad. And live, I occasionally do, but really it's only Vegas that has them. And when I'm there, like it's for the World Series, so I'm prioritizing that and putting all my energy into those tournaments. So that's what I'm doing instead of cash games there. But occasionally one or two other times in the year.
Your results right now and like how you're performing is like really speaking for itself. But is it something that you were thinking about maybe promoting mixed games more and like Twitch streaming or something like that to get more people into the games?
I've always kind of tried to promote mixed games when I've had the opportunities to. Anybody asks me to, I'm always encouraging anyone to try them. I coach mixed games too. I'm, a big fan proponent of that. Twitch, not really so much, both because essentially I'm just going to be, giving away, all the secrets for free, which I wouldn't really want to do. Also, I don't think that stuff kind of comes very naturally or easily to me, to be honest. I'm a bit more of a private person. I'm not necessarily, able to just be broadcasting myself out to hundreds or thousands of people like that very comfortably. And whilst I've kind of tried to do it once, then, you know, I just found it difficult. Although I do enjoy commentary, actually. So I've done that quite a few times, and I've always enjoyed that. I do think I'm quite good at that, which, you know, makes it more fun too. You know, especially if, like, you know, I have fun co-hosts and things like that. That's always a lot of fun. But aside from that, I don't really have any like other particular opportunities to promote them. I'm not planning to like bring out any courses anytime soon or something like that.
Right. So it's actually quite funny because one of the questions here is literally, you make it look so easy. So without giving anything away, like, is there any kind of like a key learning, especially online, that you have for like winning so many tournaments?
Key learning, as in, so what would be the best ways to learn and improve? And I mean, I think for mixed games, one of the biggest things, honestly, is just volume and experience. Things like, for example, stud games where, you know, it is harder to be, let's say, you know, running spots or running equities like that. There is absolutely a way to improve as well. You can definitely do all those kind of study things on the side, which I think for every game is definitely helpful. But, you know, things like various different up cards, there's just like so many, not unique, but very rare scenarios that you don't come up very often generally. So the more you are familiar with those scenarios, the more you get into the kind of difficult spots, the better you're going to be naturally, the better you're going to be thinking about scenarios, the more comfortable you're going to be with them when they come up again in the future. Yeah, and mixed games, I think also there's still potentially like some good room for adjustments and exploitations as well. So just, you know, knowing the player pools that you're playing with, they're just smaller online, frankly. So you kind of know the people you're playing with and how they might play generally. And yeah, also things like just watching final table replays, for example, watching any other broadcasts like that, where you know, you have the top players playing them, I think is a great learning tool as well.
So yeah, like doing the study, putting the hours in, and thinking of that, like putting the hours in. What's your prognosis, like with all your WCOOP records now? How long do you think it might take for somebody to break those, if it's not you?
I was talking about that today and recently. I mean, 7 in one series is honestly just so absurd that, frankly, I don't know if that's ever going to be beaten. I mean, lots of people have been saying to me that they don't think it's ever going to be beaten. And I mean, I don't know. That would be very cool if it's never beaten. Very cool if, you know, I beat it. But I think very unlikely. I think that's the main record that is going to be very difficult to beat. Other than that, you know, just as far as overall number of titles per series, obviously it's just going to keep going and people are going to be getting more and more, including myself, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully that'll just continue to extend as well.
Right. And would you have like some kind of number in your head where you say, okay, this is the achievement, this is when I'm gonna go and retire and leave all this behind?
Not particularly, honestly. I think as long as I keep having some hunger for it, some enjoyment of the battle for it, then I think I'll still keep going for a while. There's not like, say, you know, 50 WCOOP titles and I'm going to stop. You know, I don't have anything like that in mind. I don't have any particular goals. I think I'm just going to keep trying with it, keep trying to play in my best, and you know, hopefully the results will keep continuing.
Nice. Yeah. And this time, like you fought really hard as well and battled really hard for the Player of the Year title, and you just missed it narrowly to Patrick Leonard. But you did win one leaderboard, right? So it's like, so what do these mean for you, like these kind of achievements?
Yeah, the high leaderboard that I won is obviously very nice. That was for 15,000, which is very nice for a series. But the player of the year, or the player of the series like title, I do feel like it has more meaning to it. It's kind of just feels like more of an achievement and an accomplishment, which I've wanted for quite a while, honestly. I've tried to get it for a few years. Like, you know, last year I was basically also joint second as well, and I fought hard for it then. So it's, you know, both the money of the winning the leaderboard, but also I would feel like, you know, very proud, I think, of myself, like as if I've accomplished that. So it is something that I still might go for the future, I think. But it's just a very hard commitment in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's really hard to get it.
Well, good luck. It's very likely that you might get that one as well at some point.
Yeah.
So, like, you're a man of many talents, right? You're a musician as well. You're like a fitness enthusiast. Is there something we don't know yet about, like, that you're also really good at?
I don't know. I think most people by now probably know that I'm talented at music and guitar, especially. I guess some fitness things are cool. I don't know. There are one or two other things, I guess. I can't think of anything in particular, honestly. Yeah, not right now anyway.
Okay, how do these things, like especially like music and fitness and so on, factor into your success, like to balance everything?
It is honestly really hard to balance things. It's nice when I have like my own setup in one particular place, like in an apartment where I have my guitar that I'm able to play, and it's really nice after long days of online, you know, to help me keep my sanity a bit. And it's
Read
nice.
a bit.
Yeah, you know, even if you've had a rough day, it's still like something that is fun and enjoyable, and, you know, something else that I know I'm good at and I'm gonna enjoy. So that is important. You know, it can be a bit of a creative outlet too. But it's hard because like I'm just traveling so much that almost have no other chances to play really. It's just when I'm in one place. Otherwise I'd have to be carrying my guitar and amp to various places. So for example, here I did bring my guitar over from the UK and I rented an amp here. But like most places, for example, the World Series, I don't have it. Where I mean, I wish I would, but one year I did actually bring it there and I played it for maybe half an hour throughout the whole summer. Like I just don't have the time and energy really. So it's hard. Because I do feel like it needs some energy as well for it. And these series are very draining. So it's hard. And when I'm traveling so much, I would like to be able to dedicate more time to it. Maybe in the next like year or two if I'm traveling less. And yeah, in terms of exercise, then that's kind of also similar. I try to as much as I can, but also that is a energy issue as well when, especially live poker, I find really draining, that I find it hard to, you know, just finish a day and then go work out. It is a bit easier here, for example, in Vancouver, because the days end at like 5:30 p.m. So it is nice to be able to go work out and after that and still, you know, feel like I have more of the day ahead of me. If I was in the UK playing, then my day ends at like 2 or 3 a.m. and that's pretty rough to do something after that. But yeah, I do try, and I do find it is important for balance as well. Something like a workout where it can kind of help me reset and, you know, help kind of make me feel good about myself in that way. It's like, okay, day was rough, but I've accomplished this. That's cool, that, for example. Yeah, so it's nice.
Yeah, great. Where's your base right now, actually? Like in England? No base? Nomad?
Really? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like a lot of things are at my parents' place in the UK in Southampton, so that's it's pseudo base, but I don't have any current accommodation really. Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of your family, like how do they think about like your successes? Do they realize what all this means in the poker world? Yeah, they're fully in it.
Absolutely, yeah, they do. They're very proud. It's very nice, and they are absolutely reading like all the articles about me. It's very nice. They're even like actively searching articles and sending me articles that I see about me, and it's all really nice. Yeah, they definitely understand everything about it, and they followed it for a while, so they know exactly and it's really nice.
It's awesome. Okay, last question. So you're in Vancouver right now. What's next?
Next is EPT Cyprus.
All right.
Yeah, so I'll have a few days off until then, which I'm gonna try and enjoy, relax, decompress a bit. And then, yeah, Cyprus should be interesting with that being a new EPT stop. So I'm kind of excited for that. And honestly, after that, I don't really know yet. I've got like a month or so after it where I don't necessarily have anything planned. I think I'm going to take a bit of time off, maybe even travel for a couple of weeks. Hopefully it's somewhere more interesting and new, like Thailand. And then, yeah, the last kind of plans that I really have is like Vegas in December. That's really the last thing I have kind of firmed up as plans for the series. But other than that, yeah, not sure. One or two other stops later this year. I think we'll see how I feel after Cyprus.
Perfect. Well, looking forward to see your results at all the other stops and online, of course. That's it, basically. So can do cut. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.